Yes. The answer to orcs is always yes. Wow! Welcome back to the Everyone's Confessed to Old Big Mek here. And that's right, it's time for another episode. And in this one, we are talking about whether or not you should start orcs. And yes, the answer is always yes. Let's get into it. Alright, so for those of you that have been living under a rock, Warhammer 40k 10th and a half edition is getting a little long in the tooth. It has been 2 years plus since the Leviathan box came out and the modern rule set and all that jazz. Now, all that being said, we are clearly not done yet. There are a number of armies that don't have a codex or release yet, such as Dark Eldar / Drukhari. There are some that are being a little delayed, such as Imperial Knights. And we've been getting some new armies, such as Emperor's Children. There's also been all of these rumors coming around about this big narrative push that's happening. And that's very typical of Games Workshop. The last few editions they have done at the end of an edition, like a really cool narrative gameplay thing, where they come out with additional rules, additional models, and things like that to kind of keep interest in the current game moving forward when they've run out of armies. So all that totally normal. And, you know, good, bad, and different. It's a little something for everybody. I personally really like the narrative books and the campaign books that come out at the end, because those are great to buy and keep and hold on to and play even after the edition is done. And they do tend to actually like move the game forward and move the lore forward. But, you know, they're not for everybody. And that's totally cool. So the big question I'm getting, though, is whether or not you should start orcs this late in the edition. Especially because at this point, it is common knowledge that orcs are the antagonists of 11th edition. But yeah, I'm not joking. I'm not being facetious. It really is. Chapter Master Valrak has had a number of things on it for like at least the past year, but a bunch of other people and places and whatnot are saying it too and hinting at it, and even Games Workshop themselves in their like little promo emails that you could sign up for. They're starting to have all these things that come through asking, you know, this army or that army, and Orcs tends to be on those questions a lot. And yeah, we also haven't had much in the way of anything for releases for a long time now. We get all the little special stuff. You know, you get the Red Gobbo and whatnot, and we got the really cool special Uftak Blackhawk model and whatnot. But the reality is, this edition we got one model, and that was the Big Mek. Or no, he came out last year. What did we get this year? I can't even remember. Yeah, no, I am right. It was the Big Mek, because our codex came out last year. The only models we've gotten since then was the new Kill Team, the Rekka Crew, which gives you the Breaka Boys and the Tank Busters. So little bits and pieces coming out, not a whole lot going on. Now, when you look at the past history of starter boxes, it has always been Space Marines on one side, yay beakies, versus some antagonist on the other. Second edition started off with Orcs. It was Orcs versus Space Marines. It had the Blood Angels artwork on the front. Very classic, very cool. That's the one, of course, that had the infamous cardboard dread in it. And so that's the first time we saw Orcs as the antagonist. Third edition came out. We got the Dark Eldar. Fourth edition was the Battle for Macragge, which had the Ultramarines versus the Tyranids. And that one was pretty cool. That's the one with the Crash to Key Lander, the little pits that the Spore Mines came out of and stuff. That was a really popular one. And then 5th edition, the Orcs came back again, and we had Assault on Blackreach, which to this day is like the all-time starter set of starter sets, because the armies you got on each side were both so good. And the sculpts, especially for the day, really moved things forward and were really nice and high quality. I still have all of my Blackreach Orcs in my Orc army, and you would be hard-pressed to tell them apart from even the super modern stuff that just came out. They really are that good. That box is just so good. So anyways, that was 5th edition. And then 6th and 7th were weird. That was when Warhammer was really at a low point sales-wise and just kind of moving forward-wise. It was Dark Angels as the Beakies, which kind of turned a lot of people off because it was so focused. Even though the Battle for Macragge, for example, was Ultramarines, it was really easy to make them not Ultramarines, whereas it was like Ravenwing bikes in that 6th and 7th box. Made it really hard. But it was versus Chaos, and the Chaos part was actually pretty cool. It had like Cultists in it and stuff like that. So, halfway decent box. But they learned their lesson for 8th. 8th edition came out. That was, of course, when we got Primaris Space Marines, and we got regular plain Jane Beakies, obviously artwork done up as Ultramarines, even though only for the second time in the entire history of 40K, because it was, 2nd edition was Blood Angels, 3rd edition was Black Templar, 4th edition was Ultramarines, Blackreach, I forget what they put on the Blackreach box. I should go look at mine. Should have figured it was Ultramarines. But anyways, then you had Dark Angels, back to Ultramarines. And yeah, so 8th edition, we got Death Guard, the Stinky Boys, the Orcs from another mother, because that army is also green and rusty and has unlimited potential for cool conversions, can steal literally anything from anybody else, and has fun, happy little guys called Nurglings instead of Grots. They're good. They're all right. But yes, that was 8th edition, and then 9th edition we got Indomitus with the Necrons and all of that stuff. That was a very cool one. And then 10th edition, the one that's out now, of course, started with the Leviathan box and Tyranids. So it's been a hot minute since Orcs were the antagonists. And again, if you look backwards, we've got Tyranids, we've got Necrons, we've got the Death Guard guys, and then we've got regular Chaos. You've already pretty much covered all of the other antagonists, unless they're willing to do either Eldari for the first time ever or Drukhari. It's got to be Orcs. So, like I said, at this point, it's pretty common knowledge that 11th edition, which is probably coming out in about 11 months, next summer, 2026, if it's going to be Orcs, why would you start an Orc army now? If either you've never been in 40K before, or maybe you're in 40K, but you're looking at a different army, would you do Orcs in this day and age right now with a year to go? My answer, even like out of the like, I'm Big Mek and everything here is Orky, is still yes. And I'm going to tell you why. Now see, and this is going to apply to any edition moving forward. Being an old graybeard myself, who's been here since 2nd edition, and bought every box but those 6th and 7th boxes, I've seen this same thing play out over and over and over and over again. And that is very simple. When a new edition starts and a new army is the antagonist, everybody wants to start that army because the models are so cheap. You get this really amazing starter box, people buy it and go, oh man, these guys are cool, I want to play this army. And sales for that army go through the roof. Unfortunately, that also means prices for things for that army go through the roof. And I'm not just talking about GW and their regular pricing where they like raise prices on things or come out with new kits that are more expensive than the old kits. Obviously, all that happens. I'm talking about secondary market, used stuff. People that have those kits, whether they're new or built or like a fully painted army, doesn't matter. All of the prices go up for the current army. And then when that army is passed by and the next edition comes out, all of the prices for that army go down hard. And then you give it another edition and they go back up. Seriously, go look at Death Guard, for example, right? The ones that came out in 8th edition. Prior to 8th edition, Death Guard armies were actually kind of rare. When it came to Chaos, they were the most like divergent from your typical Chaos chapter or legion or army. And so you really had to dedicate yourself to Death Guard, and they didn't have a whole lot of models out. You had your regular Death Guard Space Marines, a couple of characters, and that was about it. There were like some upgrade sprues for vehicles and things like that, but they did not have their own dedicated vehicles yet. They did not have their own dedicated troops beyond just the Death Guard guys. And so those armies are actually really rare. The prices on them were honestly pretty low. You had 2 editions in a row where regular, like unaligned Chaos Legion was the antagonist. So people were playing Chaos like crazy, but you couldn't play any of those in a Death Guard army anyway. So nobody was playing as Death Guard. Death Guard came out, that box hit, Dark Imperium was an absolute smash success, and everybody bought it. In that box was this really amazing Death Guard army. And with the Death Guard explosion that came out after it, you got all of these brand new vehicles that were Death Guard specific. You got all of these brand new kits that were Death Guard specific. Even things like Poxwalkers, that was only Death Guard. And everybody lapped it up. Everybody started armies. The prices on other Death Guard things went up. Now, fast forward to 9th edition and Indominus. That comes out, now Necrons are the new hotness. All of a sudden, there's all of these old boxes of Death Guard hanging around where people hadn't quite gotten to the army yet, and they're willing to let them go for cheaper so that they can go buy some Necrons, because that's what they do. And you saw a ton of YouTube content of people going out and doing Death Guard armies because they were so affordable. Like, oh man, I'm going to find these Terminators, I'm going to find these easy to build boxes that are going out of print because nobody wants them anymore, and buy this stuff for pennies on the dollar compared to what it was like new. Fast forward to now, if you want to do a Death Guard army now, all that stuff is really expensive. The Dark Imperium half that's Death Guard goes for more than that whole box retailed for today. Because now if you want to start a Death Guard army, it's really expensive because you missed the boat on that. Because it's been years and years and years and multiple editions ago. So, right now, again, this is 2025. We are in we are starting the 3rd year of 10th edition. 10th and a half, again, the rules are wonky. But Orcs haven't been the antagonist since 5th edition. It's been a long time. Orky stuff right now is the cheapest it's ever been. Oh, okay, maybe not ever, but inflation adjusted. You know what I'm talking about. It is really, really affordable right now to start an Orc army. The cheapest unit box Games Workshop sells for 40K is Orcs. Not joking. This box right here. Good old Grots. This is a unit, not a character. A unit. Still retails for less than 25 bucks. You can find this online, 22 something dollars all day, every day. Name any other army that has a unit like that in 40K. Right? Our Old Boys box, also still really cheap. I think it retails for somewhere around 45 bucks, whereas everybody else's basic units are around 60. Our truck, oh my gosh, the truck, one of the biggest, most detailed models Games Workshop has ever made, bar none. That thing retails for less than 50 bucks. You can't even buy a Rhino for that price, and you're getting the entire truck for it. Now is the time to buy these kits. In fact, I made a whole video on the 5 kits you should buy and the 5 kits you shouldn't buy before 10th and a half edition. And realistically, you're okay buying just about everything, because even the stuff that's going to get replaced, what you want to do is hold on to it, because everybody's going to want extras, or everybody's going to want parts in order to be able to convert and add on to things. And if you're holding on to extra stock, you might be able to make yourself some teeth once 11th edition actually hits. Now, if you don't want to be a bad moon and, you know, lavish yourself with all of your fortunes from doing that kind of thing, that's okay. Again, I still think it is a great time to start for a whole nother reason, and that is simply playability. Now, what am I talking about when I say playability? Really think about it, especially if you've been in this game, if you've been in this hobby for more than one edition, you know exactly what I'm talking about. New box comes out. You build, paint, and play your army. How many of you actually got that army done during that edition? Be honest with yourselves. Look around right now, look at your Leviathan box. How many of you have all the Beakies built and painted? How many of you have all the Tyranids built and painted? How many of you that actually answered yes to either of those took those armies any further? Now, the Beakies are easy. Everybody's got a Beaky army laying in their closet, myself included. But the Tyranid part, right? If you got the Leviathan box and you actually managed to build it and paint it, did you add on to it? Did you play games with it? Have you been involved with that army thoroughly this edition while it's hot, while everybody is talking about it, while those are the games people want to play? My guess is Most of you are shaking your heads right now going, yeah, I didn't do that. We're not going to talk about that. Exactly my point. So when 11th edition hits and Orcs are the hotness and they've got the good rules and everybody wants to play Orcs, do you want to be feverishly trying to put your army together? Or do you already want to have your WA absolutely positively ready to rock? You see what I mean? If you've already got an army going and the new edition comes and it's that army, it is so much easier to add on to it. That's the Beaky effect, right? If you have a Space Marine army right now, you know that when that starter box hits, it's going to have Space Marines in it. And it is super easy for you to add more Space Marines to it. Right? I mean, you already got the army. You're like, oh, I like this unit best. I'm going to paint that one up. And oh, this character's cool. And you can paint him up. You put them all together, and you've just added on to your army. Now, think about doing that for the antagonist as well. Imagine having 1,000, 1,500, even 2,000 points of Orcs already ready to go. You've had a whole year at this point to build and paint and play and learn Orcs, learn how they work, learn all their different tactics. Go watch WA Tactics for a year and figure out how Orcs work. Then when 11th edition hits, you are already on the ball. You're able to comprehend any changes that are made faster than anybody else, and you're able to get your army on the board quicker than anybody else. Now, you can go out there and stomp some Umis and use your Orcs to their fullest and be at the forefront of that edition instead at the back of that edition. That's why you want to start Orcs right now. All right, let me know what you think down in the comments below. Let's have a conversation about this. I especially want to hear from you graybeards that have been around for a bunch of editions. Let all the new guys know. Am I spouting truth here, or am I just talking up a wall? Like, seriously, let's lay it out, let's talk about it, and let's help get everybody on the right foot so that when 11th edition comes out and Orcs are the new big bad, we come out absolutely rocking it and just leveling everybody else in 40K, because I think that would be rad. All right, that's going to do it for this video. If you are watching this when it first comes out, somewhere around August 8th, 2025, you are in time to watch our upcoming live stream on Monday, August 11th. I don't know exactly what time we'll start yet. It's going to be sometime in the afternoon, Pacific time in the US. So figure somewhere around 5 o'clock or so p.m. Pacific. Again, not for sure, but watch the channel. Definitely having a live stream on Monday. There are multiple things we are covering in this live stream. First of all, we are covering all the winners to our heavy metal contest. That's the contest we've been running over the beginning of the summer here, May, June, and July, where you built and painted some really cool old school metal minis, and in exchange, you get to win them. We had over 100 entrants to this thing in between the painting contest and the merch sales to something like over 15 countries. It was really, really amazing. Trying to just collate everybody and get all the names in a hat is a ton of work and so much fun. And I want to thank each and every one of you for participating. This has definitely been our best contest yet. And definitely you're going to want to enter more, because this has just blown my socks off, and I want to do more of these, and I want to make them more often. So yeah, really hopeful that maybe we can be announcing whatever that next contest is during that live stream as well. So we'll be drawing all the winners. And again, we're going to have something between 12 and 15 winners, depending on you know, how many prizes are here in my hand at the time. But we're going to draw all those names live. You guys will get to see the winners live. Now, if you miss it, don't worry. I will put out a video announcing just the winners after that will stay up on YouTube so that everybody can see who won and congratulate them. We'll obviously also talk about it over on Discord, link down in the description below. Our Discord, of course, is always free, never behind a paywall, because who wants to do that? But yeah, so we'll be doing everything on this live stream for the contest. Now, if you didn't enter the contest, you still want to be in on this live stream, and I'm going to tell you why. I posted a sneak peek a couple of weeks ago of a really amazing old school Orc army. We are going to be talking to the proprietor of that army, Breck, who built it, painted it, converted it, loved it for decades. And we are going to go over absolutely everything in that army. I'm talking minis that are so rare, I've never seen them before. This is going to be an all-time epic Orcdom. So if you are into Orcs at all, you are going to want to be at this live stream on Monday, August 11th. So stay tuned to the channel for that. All right, that's going to do it for this one. Thank you so much, everybody. Don't forget your merch over at the merch store, including our Go Fastest shirt with artwork by BenBam, your Red Squig merch, such as the hat, and of course the Dirty Paint Water mug. Coffee looks a lot like dirty paint water. I'm realizing this might not be the best idea. All right, guys. We'll catch you later. Until then, Wog on!